Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County COPWATCH, and I'd like to thank you for all your years of support through the years. As a result, this channel has grown and allowed me an equity partnership in carmarshal.com. Please take the time to check them out. They help you buy and sell your next car, even have a negotiating tool to save you from the hassle of haggling with multiple dealers. The link is in the description below. Please click and help support and give if you can too through PayPal or Patreon. Thanks again.
I didn't have a problem with this country. Then all of a sudden they technically made it illegal to be a juggalo. It's like they took that one thing away that made me not have a problem with the government. The way we take it, it's like you didn't come up the route, everybody comes up.
Who's gonna step up for us?
You know, how would you fight this if this was happening to you?
Late one hot summer night, crowds of people gather in a remote wooded area. Everywhere, faces are covered in clown makeup and arms and legs are covered in Hatchet Man tattoos. By the end of the night, everyone will be covered in sticky, cheap soda. These people are called Juggalos, and they've come to see their favorite rap group, Insane Clown Posse. Juggalos have built a cultural identity around the music, the rap duo, and what it represents. In turn, ICP has stood up for its followers after they've been harassed and profiled all over the country. As the FBI has tried to force Juggalos to retreat back into the shadows, these two white rappers from Detroit have unwittingly become some of the nation's most determined advocates for free expression.
Many of you may never have even heard of the group ICP.
Insane Clown Posse is a rap group known for its violent lyrics.
A dynamic duo driving their fans into a frenzy.
We were just rappers. You know what I'm saying? That's it. We just wanted to rap, get on a major label, and rap for a living. That's what we wanted to do.
That's Shaggy 2 Dope, and here's Violent J.
Because we came up with nothing. Fucking dirt poor, bottom of the barrel, is fucking grimy as you can possibly be.
ICP started off like most struggling artists, using a basement to make their first recording.
You believe in a secret, right? You know what the secret is and laws of attraction and all that? We were fully putting that energy out as kids. Fully. And it was just destiny.
Insane Clown Posse is interesting that they've been around forever. You know, they've been around for over 25 years.
We caught up with Nathan Rabin at his motel in Oklahoma City, where he was in the middle of writing about the 2017 gathering of the Juggalos. He's a pop culture writer and has written extensively on Juggalos and Insane Clown Posse.
You know, they're really kind of these white high school dropouts from Detroit who discovered horrorcore music, which is a gory, violent, kind of over-the-top, sort of like horror movies, but in sort of audio form.
But these rappers from Southwest Detroit say they are sending out a positive message, calling on listeners to wipe out racism, bigotry, drugs, and careless sex.
The music spoke to poor, scrubby white kids who identified with Shaggy 2 Dope and Violent J, kids who grew up in broken homes or sleeping in cars, kids that don't have traditional families.
We represent people that have been they were born without the silver spoon in the mouth, but instead with a rusty fork.
But you see a fair amount of diversity. You'll see black juggalos, you see a lot of juggalos in wheelchairs. Again, I think it's just the idea of it appeals to outsiders.
The underdog persona started to inform what ICP did on stage.
And then they kind of stumbled upon this gimmick where they would dress up like clowns.
All these people, they view the underclass, poor people as like carnival freaks. And that's why we wear the clown makeup.
And that's also why ICP brought the cheap soda brand Faygo on stage, to let the audience know that they should embrace where they came from.
One of the group's favorite gimmicks, fountains of Faygo pop, spraying endlessly into the adoring audience.
So that became part of their whole spectacle, as they dress up like clowns and they perform this horrorcore music and they would spray the audiences with Faygo.
Now they have a cult-like following and sell out every concert they play in Metro Detroit.
And they developed a reputation, bifurcated. You know, they had fans, they were, had kind of this period in the 90s when they almost broke into the mainstream, where they had platinum records, where MTV was kind of interested in them. They were on, major labels, and that never really happened.
It seemed like ICP didn't fit in anywhere in mainstream music. In 1997, they had their album pulled from stores by their mainstream record label.
ICP was dropped by a Disney record label for being inappropriate and too explicit.
Then came another setback.
They performed in Woodstock '99, which to me is really interesting because that was just a total shit show. And also kind of a big turning point for The Gathering, where they're kind of like, we don't belong on the Woodstock '99 bill.
Woodstock 1999 was the corporate version of Woodstock 1969, complete with expensive ticket prices, multiple sponsors, and overpriced water. Also, it ended in fires and looting. So ICP turned inward, releasing music on their own and creating a world for themselves and Juggalos to exist.
So the next year, they began the Gathering of the Juggalos.
This is us just chilling at the Gathering. This is what we do, how we do it. Come, take a look.
The festival has been held in different cities since 2000, and it attracts thousands of Juggalos from across the nation.
And they would get kicked out of various states. They'd be in convention centers, they get kicked out of convention centers. They would just kind of get kicked out of everywhere.
In 2017, it was held just outside of Oklahoma City at this wooded campground.
And they developed kind of this notoriety, and the notoriety was partially based on, you know, the music of Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope, and part of the notoriety was based on the fans.
What's up, Juggalos? Whoop whoop! Come out and play!
You know, they're very easy to make fun of. They're the poor white people that everybody has no problem mocking.
If you don't whoop whoop me back, you're no longer fresh. You're stale. The difference between fresh and stale is common sense. You're either ripe or you're not. Whoop whoop! Stale.
Juggalos became pop culture punchline a long, long time ago, and it has remained a very popular pop culture punchline.
But ICP used that punchline status to bolster their fans.
They gave us something to believe in.
Yeah.
Something.
Give you something to hope for.
Yeah, some hope.
We feel like whatever the magic is that's bringing us all together, whatever the magic is they're hearing, is the same magic we're feeling. So when they say, hey, you guys saved my life, or you guys this and that, you know, got me through fucking school, you this and that, it's them that did that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit saved our life too.
Like my ninja forgot his whole wardrobe, and ninjas are just throwing him stuff to make sure that he's not over here struggling. You know, he can get clean. That's my friend, my family. Ninjas is another word for it.
It's very validating and exciting to be around people who love you, you know, just because of what you do and what you like. And there's like this freedom, you know, that you find at the Gathering that you don't really find anywhere else.
It seemed like ICP had finally found the success that they wanted. The rap duo had their own place in music, and Juggalos had formed a community they never had before. But then something totally surprising happened.
They may look like clowns, but feds are taking them seriously. The FBI has identified fans of the rap group Insane Clown Posse as America's newest gang.
When we first heard about it, we were just like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
you know
we thought it was cool. We thought it was funny. Like, out of all the nation's top gangs that actually think we're a gang, we must really be out there. We took it like it was cool. We had no idea of any repercussions that were gonna happen because of that.
The FBI has legal approval to basically profile Juggalos, and if they see somebody with a Hatchet Man decal in their on the back of their truck, you know, they can pull them over.
Yeah, no, I've been fucking pulled over, you know, because I had fucking Hatchet Man sticker on my car. They're like, are you in a gang or something?
And the cop was like, oh, so you're just into this gang stuff, you're not a member of it. We're like, what gang stuff? It's music.
Then ICP started hearing stories about people losing their jobs or being denied custody of their children over being a Juggalo. It seemed like the sort of enthusiasm that made sense at the Gathering or at an ICP concert was getting Juggalos into trouble in the mainstream world.
Felt like being bullied, you know, to like a massive level.
I didn't have a problem with this country. Then all of a sudden they technically made it illegal to be a Juggalo. It's like they took that one thing away that made me not have a problem with the government. The way we take it, it's like, you didn't come up the route everybody comes up. You didn't come up the same avenues everybody uses to come up.
You didn't sell your idea to a corporation and use them to put it all over the world. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, fuck you now, you know?
Yeah, now they're mad about it. So they're like, you know, we're not going to let that happen. We're going to find a way to fuck you up, you know? And they did. I mean, they totally did.
And it's not just about fucking us up. It's fucking up anybody who's down with us, who listens to us, who represents what we represent. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just us. You know what I'm saying? It affects people that listen to us more than it affects us, actually.
No doubt.
You know
when I say us, I mean
Right, us as a, you know, as
Right.
juggalos.
Insane Clown Posse versus the U.S. Department of Justice. Well, tonight the Michigan-based rap metal duo is suing the government over a gang designation.
Juggalos are being fucked with. We got to do something about it. You know what I'm saying? If that ties us into some kind of First Amendment movement, whatever. We're First Amendment warriors. I don't know.
In this country, we have the right to listen to the music we want and associate with fellow fans without being subjected to harassment or criminal profiling.
What do they do when the judge meets with the attorneys or whatever and decides if the case is worthy? We didn't even make it past that stage. Fucking got thrown out of court 3 times.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Never even made it to court, actually.
So, you know, just people getting thrown in jail and, you know, all this shit for no reason. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't important enough to take to a trial. Nothing to it. You know what I'm saying? Fuck it. Let them go to jail. Who cares? You know?
My question is, where's the fucking Calvary? Where's fucking Eddie Vedder? Where's Neil Young? Where's fucking all these guys?
With all these activists. You know what I'm saying?
Where are they?
It's because it's not just an Insane Clown Posse thing. It's a First Amendment thing. It's a freedom of speech thing. It's, you know, freedom to assemble. It's freedom of self-expression.
There's always going to be a couple bad apples, and it's not fair to basically villainize every single other person just because of a couple bad people.
If you told me, oh, hey, get in this music, you're part of the gang, I would have been like, well, that's not what I'm fucking down with. But when I listen to music and it tells me to be a better person, to live a better life, treat people fairly, and fucking live the best of fucking that I can on this earth, that's what I'm down with. That's what I'm for. And that, to me, there's no gang that preaches that.
What should we do? You know, how would you fight this if this was happening to you? Whatever musician or fucking anything out there, how would you fight this?
It seems ICP and Juggalos are being forced to take a step into the mainstream world again. They'll be marching on Washington in September 2017 to protest the FBI's gang designation.
Who else is going to step up for us? You know what I'm saying? So far, nobody. So if we don't do it, it's just going to be left the gang. You know what I'm saying? It probably is anyhow, but at least we got something to say about it.
We're definitely going to Washington to march because fuck all the bullshit that comes along with the police.
I'm going, my kids are going. We have 5 rooms rented. My homeboy is renting a 10-person van.
It's a publicity stunt, 100%, because we want to say to everybody, we're not cool with that.
We're just trying to let motherfuckers look at Juggalos in a different light. That's all we're doing, you know what I'm saying? So they can get a fair shake at life.
It's infuriating.
It's fucking bullshit, man.
That's why we're marching.
This is our lifestyle. This is our life.
Juggalos are America. That's the America that I relate to. You know, that's the America that speaks to me. It's, you know, America of outsiders, of weirdos, people who aren't accepted, you know, who don't belong in their places.
Only in America. That's right.
The FBI targeted Insane Clown Posse fans. Now the Juggalos are marching on Washington. The Juggalos, the most rabid and notorious fans in all of music, were restless. Wild hoots erupted as a tattooed man at the back of the tent hurled an empty pizza box skyward. It twirled and crashed on a group at the front waiting for their beloved Insane Clown Posse to address the crowd from the stage. Those at the front turned and retaliated, launching an overstuffed trash bag that exploded on the ground and vomited its rancid contents across the feet of people in the rear. In response, an empty 2-liter soda bottle arced through the air like an artillery shell, hitting a man in front with a dull thud. A full-on garbage war had now erupted, as the dueling groups of fans sent cans, foam plates and fast food bags whizzing back and forth. F the back, the front rumbled. F the front, the back volleyed. Women caught between the warring factions casually popped umbrellas to shield themselves from the trash juices raining down, as if dealing with a passing shower. A fat drop of mystery liquid plopped on the arm of a man standing near me. "Was that water?" he asked a friend before swiping it with an index finger and lifting it to his nose. "Yeah, we're good." And so the mayhem went on for roughly 40 minutes. In fact, this is how it goes every year at the Gathering of the Juggalos, a 4-day festival that hip-hop group Insane Clown Posse, ICP, organizes for its fans. The nearly 2-decade-old event held this year in Oklahoma City in late July combines the communal spirit of Burning Man, the debauchery of a NASCAR infield and the edgy theater of a freak show. Often derided as white trash, ICP and its fan base have a penchant for garbage throwing and chronically soaking one another with cheap Faygo soda, their drink of choice. Saturday Night Live has repeatedly ribbed them, and they are arguably in strong contention for the title of America's most hated subculture. But, amid all the trash throwing, which served as a prelude to the seminar, a key event at the annual gathering, where ICP offers its fans a sort of State of the Juggalo Union, a question was running through my mind: are these people gang members? If the FBI is to be believed, every one of the hundreds of juggalos under this tent were potentially part of a criminal syndicate. That's because in 2011, the FBI took the extraordinary and unprecedented step of labeling the entire fan base of ICP a gang, placing them alongside the Bloods, Crips, and MS-13, after a string of crimes carried out by people identified as juggalos. The move touched off one of the strangest controversies at the crossroads of pop culture, criminal justice, and the First Amendment in contemporary America. ICP and the Juggalos were outraged, saying the FBI effectively criminalized being a fan of a musical group. It had far-reaching and severe consequences. Juggalos not associated with gangs have reported being repeatedly stopped by police, added to gang databases, blocked from the military, placed on stricter forms of probation, suspended from school and fired from jobs. Those problems sparked a campaign by ICP and the Juggalos to get the FBI to publicly repudiate the gang label. They say their right to free speech, right to assemble, and the good old American right to rock are being violated. Their fight has drawn in the American Civil Liberties Union and spurred a federal lawsuit. And the effort moves into a bigger spotlight on September 16 with easily the most unusual protest to hit the nation's capital in a year full of them. In a rally being organized by ICP, the group's fans will descend on the mall for a Juggalo march on Washington. It will be an easy spectacle to lampoon, yet at the heart of the protest will be a quite serious question: while Juggalos can certainly be accused of criminally bad taste, are they actual criminals? ICP, Violent J, Left, and Shaggy 2 Dope comprise Insane Clown Posse. The two are known for their trademark face paint and matching lemon yellow Insane Clown Posse jerseys. Devin Doyle / for the Washington Post. ICP got its start in Detroit in the late 80s and became known for over-the-top, slasher movie-style lyrics, clown makeup, and the carnival theatrics of its shows. With its abrasive rap metal sound and cartoonish outrageousness, the band, composed of two singers, Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope, is a kind of mash-up of Kiss, the early Beastie Boys, and professional wrestling. ICP has sold millions of records, but it has remained largely out of the spotlight because radio and MTV refuse to play the group's explicit, gory, and sometimes misogynistic songs. Oklahoma City approached the gathering of the Juggalos with all the joy of a town that has learned it has been selected to be the site of a toxic waste dump. "I'm going to be watching it very closely," City Council member John Pettis told the Oklahoman newspaper the day before the event began at a dusty and forlorn 900-acre recreation area that sits on the outskirts of town, between a metal scrapyard and a sand pit. Pettis urged residents to report any problems with Juggalos to police. The same article noted that a man who once listed ICP on his MySpace page had committed one of the most infamous mass murders in recent Oklahoma history. On TV, a newscaster ominously intoned that police were on high alert. As a journalist, I wasn't expecting much love from Juggalos as I picked up my press pass for the gathering on a sweltering morning. So I was caught off guard when a couple in line with me at the ticket booth offered me a ride, since I was facing a sweaty, 30-minute walk into the venue. Zach Jordan, a truck driver from outside Oklahoma City, had Juggalo tattooed across his back, and his wife, Christian, had on horts and brown house slippers. We piled inside their green Mustang jammed with camping gear and headed out to meet another couple at their campsite. They had been ICP fans for years, but this was their first gathering. They were excited. I told them I was surprised anyone would give a reporter a ride since Juggalos had received such bad press, but Zach offered what became a virtual mantra at the gathering: if you hang out with Juggalos for a day, you'll find it's all about love and family. It all sounded rather hippy-dippy, but the actual norms of the Juggalos are a bit more complicated. At the 2012 gathering, Juggalos stripped the car of a man caught stealing and paraded around with his bumpers, doors, and license plate. Lollapalooza this was not. Welcome to the gathering, a large sign on a tent read, "Show me your butthole." Beyond the sign, a ramshackle encampment sprawled around two lakes. Thousands of Juggalos from across the country were camping in tents, U-Haul vans, or RVs, or simply spread out on blankets beneath trees. Most had driven here, but a few hitchhiked or even walked. Fireworks exploded in the distance. People partied in camps. Juggalos yelled their ubiquitous greeting like mating birds, whoop, whoop. Many others carried megaphones and implored women to show us your breasts. A few Juggalettes female Juggalos obliged, jiggling before walking on. A few simply went topless. Trolleys, tractors pulling hitches like a hayride but littered with trash, circulated around the camp, delivering people to 3 stages. They featured bands, burlesques, a beauty pageant, wrestling and more. Other Juggalos tore around in golf carts, some cradling beers or joints, as they gripped the wheel. In the next few days, I would witness some remarkably bizarre moments. I'd find an 8-year-old kid punching people in the face for money. On another occasion, as I was interviewing a Juggalette, a drunken woman clutching a long-necked pink glass plowed her cart into the Juggalette's tent. A passenger hopped off and offered to make up for it, cash or drugs. Gathering of the Juggalos in Oklahoma City. OK. Juggalos, aka fans of Insane Clown Posse, in a mosh pit during a performance by Mushroom Head at Lost Lakes Amphitheater in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Devin Doyle / for the Washington Post. ICP organizes and books the gathering but says it is a money loser. There are different levels of packages. This year general admission was $190. No posh pavilions or corporate branding as have become the norm at festivals like Coachella can be found here. The gathering is raw and independent, partly by choice and partly by circumstance. After all, what business would lend its name to something law enforcement essentially considers a gang rally? The morning after ICP played one of its 2 shows at the gathering, I set out to speak to some old school Juggalos to get their take on the gang label. The gathering felt like it had a collective hangover. One Juggalo was passed out in a camp chair, mouth open and pointed toward a massive prairie sky. Another was crumpled on a log, nursing a cigarette. A third was passed out on the ground. I found Scott Creel, a burly man with a long beard, sleeve tattoos and numerous piercings, and Scotty Donahue, the founder of the Juggalo news site FagoLovers.net, eating breakfast in a tidy RV. Both said they knew of gang members who were also Juggalos, but noted that they made up a minuscule fraction of ICP fans. Creel and Donahue believe Juggalos are in the crosshairs because of their class, their status on the margins and misunderstanding about the nature of what brought the community together. Honestly, I don't think the Juggalo nation is organized enough or intelligent enough to become a gang, Creel joked. I met Juggalos who were IT specialists and nurses, but most were blue-collar and from Rust Belt cities or small towns. Many said they were or had been homeless or had survived broken homes, sexual abuse, extreme poverty, and other difficulties. Some are gay. They said the gathering was a place of radical acceptance, welcoming all comers. If you can't find any other place to fit in because society tells you you can't fit in with this or that group, you've got to find your own group, Creel said. I kind of think that's where Juggalos came from. We are outside of the outsiders. That point was driven home when I met Adam Roberts. Roberts became a Juggalo legend in 2013 for doing something so out there even the gathering was shocked. He auctioned off his right nipple at the festival for $100 and then removed it with a scalpel. He had previously sliced off his other nipple. I was going to do it anyway, Roberts told me while sitting in a golf cart. A lot of the Juggalos seemed to get a kick out of it. I figured if they liked it I would do it. I was going to have dermal implants done with diamond tips, so I could have nipples of steel that could cut glass. Roberts, who has a ghoulish tattoo that covers his entire face, has yet to follow through on the plan, so he has the featureless chest of a doll. He said this year he ate a live scorpion. Some campers had trapped it and were offering $100 to anyone who could choke it down, but no one came forward. Roberts did it for $70 after chopping off the stinger. What did it taste like? $70 dirt, Roberts said. He told me that as one of 6 children on a single parent's meager income, he had moved 27 times by age 16. Now he returns to the gathering of the Juggalos each year. They found a name for the outcast, he said. Gathering of the Juggalos in Oklahoma City. OK. Steve from Texas, an insane clown posse fan known as a Juggalo, attends a 4-day insane clown posse festival at Lost Lakes Amphitheater in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. There are no pavilions or corporate branding, as you would see at other music festivals. Devin Doyle for the Washington Post. All over, people wandered from camp to camp speaking with those they had just met as if they were longtime friends. The Scrub Care Unit offered food, water, and care for the Juggalos, some of whom come with little more than the shirts on their backs. Some Juggalos drain their savings or go into debt to be here each year, just to be with old friends. Juggalo Batman was a good example of someone who thrived at the festival. When I first encountered him, his cape was billowing, and the dildo at his crotch was swinging crazily as he ran toward a trolley passing his campsite. The riders splashed him with water and Faygo while shouting the name everyone uses for him as he wanders the grounds like some sort of lush mayor, Bat. Huffing back to his camp, Batman aka Mike Ponner, 44 explained his origin story. He had been a security guard at a Tulsa apartment complex, where the police gave him the nickname Batman. One year, he mysteriously received a Speedo, and later a friend gave him the other component of his outfit. Voila, an X-rated superhero was born. Security is my love, Ponner said. I love to help people not be victims. That included a woman who was visiting his camp. Ponner had taken her in after she lost her apartment. He said it's what Juggalos do, and the woman has not forgotten the gesture. He's not my blood, she said, but he's my brother. Back in the real world, Juggalos often have a hard time. A little later, Ponner said he had been fired from his job as a security guard because his company found out he was a Juggalo and, thus, thought he was a gang member. He now spends his days cleaning an industrial freezer, no longer helping catch the bad guys. I've helped arrest gang members, Ponner said. Juggalos aren't it? Gathering of the Juggalos in Oklahoma City. OK. Shaggy 2 Dope, Joseph Utzler, and Violent J, Joseph Bruce, of the Insane Clown Posse. Devin Doyle for the Washington Post. On March 15, 2011, following a pair of drug arrests in Utah, the FBI Salt Lake City office announced in an internal memo that the agency was putting resources into investigating an emerging criminal threat, the Juggalos. Insane Clown Posse can't get its music on the radio, but claims to have 1 million devoted fans who call themselves Juggalos or Juggalettes, and sometimes paint their faces to look like wicked clowns, an unidentified agent wrote, adding later, Juggalos' crimes also include drug sales, drug possession, child endangerment, as well as many other crimes typically seen by gangs and gang members. So began the Juggalos' turn into a perceived national gang threat. The agent wanted to begin compiling the type of evidence prosecutors need to file federal racketeering and other charges authorities typically use to go after gangs and other organized criminal elements, like the mob. If it seems as if the FBI was turning a bazooka on a gnat, the suspicion of juggalos wasn't without precedent, as the memo noted. Authorities in 4 states, Arizona, Utah, California, and Pennsylvania, had previously declared juggalos or particular cliques of juggalos a gang. Michelle Vassie, who was a gang expert with a small police department outside Phoenix in the mid-2000s, described the problem to me. She began noticing a curious trend on the Yavapai reservation that spread elsewhere. Several of our gang members were tattooing over their original tattoos with the Hatchet Man, Vassie says. A silhouette of a man carrying a hatchet is ICP's logo. They would say, "I'm not a member of this gang anymore, I'm a juggalo," but they were still selling drugs. They were still doing drive-bys, and they were still hanging with the same people. But Vassie says the gang activity was isolated to a few pockets in the state. She says the vast majority of juggalos were not gang members and shunned such thuggishness. They were just music fans, no different from Justin Bieber's Beliebers or Deadheads. According to interviews with police and a review of cases, the situation was similar in other states. Still, the FBI investigation would elevate the matter. During a probe starting in 2011, an analyst queried local authorities about problems they had with juggalos. In 2013, the FBI released the responses to the nonprofit news site Muck Rock following a Freedom of Information request. While the responses were almost completely redacted, law enforcement officials did attach dozens of local media reports about lurid crimes allegedly committed by juggalos. They included a 2006 incident in which a man named Jacob Robida attacked 3 people at a Massachusetts gay bar with a hatchet and gun. Robida fled and killed a police officer and a hostage after officers tracked him down in Arkansas, before taking his own life. In another instance, 2 men in Salt Lake City critically injured a teen with a battle axe. Such reports continue to appear today. Just a few weeks before this latest gathering of the juggalos, a man stormed a Massachusetts radio station demanding that the DJ play ICP's song My Axe. To make his point, he happened to be brandishing an axe. No one was hurt. The crimes noted by the FBI were real, but the articles often seemed sensational and sloppy, mentioning a perpetrator's interest in ICP even if the crime was not related to their identity as a juggalo. Some news outlets found an irresistible narrative in all of this. Clown makeup-wearing fans were being driven to murder and form gangs by the ultra-violent lyrics of ICP. Juggalo killers, a new breed of gang, a headline on one of the articles blared. The information would form part of the basis of the FBI's inclusion of juggalos in its 2011 biennial gang assessment, which law enforcement officials across the country use as a guide to gangs. The juggalos, a loosely organized hybrid gang, are rapidly expanding into many U.S. communities, the report noted ominously. Most crimes committed by the juggalos are sporadic, disorganized, individualistic. In one fell swoop, the FBI had placed all ICP fans under a cloud of suspicion, even though the report later noted that only 4 states had recognized juggalos as a problem. If you look at the way the feds and states define a gang, they are so vague and general any group could fall under that definition. Alex Alonso, a professor at Cal State University Long Beach and an expert on street gangs, told me. I would say it requires a whole lot more for me to put juggalos in that street gang category. That category carries a lot of consequences. Alonso says the news clips the FBI collected from local law enforcement largely showed a collection of crimes by individuals, not a criminal enterprise that was organized, had a hierarchy or was working to further its own criminal interests, as one would expect from even a loosely coordinated gang. Gathering of the Juggalos in Oklahoma City. OK. A juggalette, aka a female fan of Insane Clown Posse, attends the band's music festival in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, in late July. Devin Doyle for The Washington Post. When I reached out to the FBI to ask about the Juggalos situation, no one would comment on the problems or criticisms of the gang label. Instead, the agency issued me a statement, The 2011 National Gang Threat Assessment was comprised of information shared with the National Gang Intelligence Center and the FBI from law enforcement around the country, it read. The 2011 report specifically noted that the Juggalos had been recognized as a gang in only 4 states. The FBI has not included Juggalos in subsequent gang assessments, but the 2011 report is still cited by authorities, including in a recent case in Virginia. Jessica Bonametti had never received a negative review as a Virginia probation officer before her boss summoned her to a meeting in a conference room last year and announced that she was being fired. Bonametti told me she was stunned as the woman gave her a termination packet, which contained the case against her, 9 of her Facebook posts showing her love for ICP. In one, Bonametti liked a photo of Shaggy 2 Dope riding a red sports motorcycle. In another, she posed in a jester costume with a man wearing the band's trademark face paint. The others were equally innocuous fan fodder. Bonametti had spent years building her career, earning a 3.9 GPA at Virginia's George Mason University, toiling at internships and working in lesser positions. She was not a gang member and had no criminal record, but it was all crumbling over pop music, however lurid. She was so incredulous, she had to confirm what was happening. Am I being fired for the type of music I'm listening to in my private life? Bonametti recalls asking her boss before she was escorted from her Fairfax, Virginia, office. And she said, yes. The Virginia Department of Corrections declined to comment on Bonametti's case but said it classifies Juggalos among the major gangs in the state corrections system. The department considers it a violation for employees to promote gangs. A spokeswoman said 190 of the 13,000 gang members it oversees identify as Juggalos, though she noted that Juggalos have not created any problems in the prison system. In 2014, the ACLU of Michigan sued the Department of Justice and FBI in federal court on behalf of ICP and 4 Juggalos. This is really a quintessential civil liberties case about abuse of government power and the right for one to express him or herself without fear of government harassment, Michael Steinberg, legal director for the ACLU of Michigan, told me. They are seeking to have the FBI renounce the gang label, claiming Juggalos' constitutional rights to expression and association are being violated. The case was dismissed late last year after a judge found the plaintiffs did not have the standing to pursue it. The ACLU is appealing that decision. Gathering of the Juggalos in Oklahoma City. OK. Attendees at the 2017 Gathering of the Juggalos at Lost Lakes Amphitheater in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, in July. Devin Doyle / for the Washington Post. The seminar began with Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope strutting onto stage in their trademark face paint and matching lemon yellow ICP jerseys. A few stray trash missiles were hurled upward, a remnant of the earlier garbage war. Violent J began his introduction, but the Juggalos quickly interrupted him, letting loose with an expletive-laden chant against Oklahoma. They were angry with police. Among other gripes, they reported that officers were ticketing people for jaywalking as they attempted to cross a road to get into the gathering, and that police buzzed helicopters over the venue. Organizers also claimed they threatened to shut down the event. Violent J told the Juggalos he was fed up. This sort of treatment is exactly why we are marching, he said to Cheers. After the seminar, I met with Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope in a trailer. I knew that, to many, ICP and Juggalos are pop culture punchlines, shorthand for schlock and bad taste. I mentioned that the now-defunct Blender magazine named ICP the worst band of all time in 2003, which would seemingly be hard to outdo except Salon later called the group the most hated band in the world and labeled Juggalos the world's most obnoxious fans. I asked the band if that bothered them. To be the worst band of all time, that's pretty effing dope, Violent J said. That counterintuitive outlook was formed early for J, whose real name is Joseph Bruce. He and his brother grew up poor in the Detroit area, getting by on food stamps and rummage sale clothes. They were made fun of at school, but instead of hiding their poverty, they played it up, creating a new identity for themselves they dubbed the Floobs. Jay said it's key to ICP's identity. Rappers love to rap about how cool they are, how much money they have, how nice their women look, and that's cool. I get that if you don't have S, you can pop in that song and feel like you do. We rap about how little we have, how SY our car is, how nasty our women are. It's easy to be a clown. It doesn't matter if you stink. It doesn't matter if you dropped out of school or are on food stamps. It doesn't matter if you got anything. It's just relieving for a lot of people. I'm so tired of trying to fit my square peg into that round hole. I'm proud to be a square. He was animated now, that's a juggalo. What Jay was saying made a lot of sense to me. If you spend time with the juggalos, they don't seem much like a gang. Instead, they seem like a group of people who have been dealt a bad hand and are providing each other with a measure of empathy and something more. By sharing, they have created wealth. In my time at the gathering, I was offered water, booze, breakfast, weed, whip pits, and an invitation to camp with a group I had met 5 minutes earlier, even though everyone I talked to understood I wasn't a juggalo. By being together in their differences, they have found inclusion. By returning to the gathering again and again each year, they have created a home. They have taken their collective nothings and turned them into something. And it is theirs. Gathering of the Juggalos in Oklahoma City. OK. Adam Roberts and Alia Gonzalez at the 2017 Gathering of the Juggalos at Lost Lakes Amphitheater in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Devin Doyle / for the Washington Post. The 4-day festival had built toward this moment. Crews made the final preparations on stage, wheeling out large drums that were stocked with 2-liter bottles of Faygo. The crowd's anticipation grew as they squeezed together at the front of the stage like a fist clenching. One juggalo carried an inflatable sex doll on his shoulders, its face done up with clown makeup. A woman in a bikini rode atop the crowd on an inflatable shark, and 2 others surfed the pit on an inflatable mattress. Beer cans, water bottles and toilet paper whizzed over the crowd. A bottle rocket skittered off the stage scaffolding, and another exploded directly in the middle of the pit, sending sparks showering over fans. No one seemed particularly fazed. Suddenly, the stage lights cut out and the juggalos erupted. Whoop. Whoop. Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope entered to a sing-song version of the Brady Bunch theme narrating the history of ICP to a loping hip-hop beat. They fight for Juggalo family and together we say F the FBI. The crowd roared, and ICP plowed into its set, prowling across the stage for over an hour. Violent J wrenched the caps off Faygo bottles and cradled them like footballs, sending gushing streams of soda onto the crowd as he rapped. ICP goes through about 700 2-liter bottles in a show. Toward the end, ICP invited juggalettes onto the stage. The women danced across, unleashing torrents of Faygo themselves. Soon, juggalos began pulling themselves over a barrier and onto the stage. ICP melted into the crowd. It can be so lonely, Jay rapped at one point. But the stage was so crowded with bouncing juggalos some nearly toppled off. Then a group of juggalos that remained below carefully lifted a juggalo in his wheelchair over the barrier in front of the stage. They strained beneath the weight but crossed a breach and with final pushes heaved the man and his chair onto the stage. More cheers and Faygo were hurled upward. Some women ripped off their shirts. Men turned and mooned the crowd. Copyright 2017, the San Diego Union Tribune.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County COPWATCH, and I found that I had to make a change this ending on my videos, letting you know about the channel and fair use laws, you know, how we can report on other people's reporting and how it's good, how it's bad, etc. But you guys can look it up yourself. It is legal. It's in there. But like I've told you before, that I've been cut off from making money on YouTube for 4 years. It's really weird, bizarre, but they cut the money off, but they said you can keep the channel, and now YouTube makes all the money. And if you get bored, plug it into Social Blade. website, and you'll see that they are making a huge amount off the site. Right now it's at 63 million views, 53,000 subscribers, almost 3 million views a month. You know, trying to wake people up, and I make nothing. In fact, I got a customer that's ex-congressman. He said if I could ever find a lawyer, sue YouTube on it. But because this is nuts. 4 hours a day, and to save America. You know, but at the same time, it's worth it. Look at what our founding fathers did. They died for this country. So, but getting back to the money part, this is why I'm redoing the video. Is my dream of everyone giving $1, and it's going to be $53,000 a year, or if they did Patreon, which you know, can be monthly. That is not working. That'd be great if it did. Nothing is perfect. And I appreciate the people that do donate, you know, what they can on PayPal. And there again, I'm letting you guys know that is not much. Is, you know, monthly is, oh my god. So anyways, yes, you cannot live on it. It's very, very, very low amount. But the dollar things, I do appreciate that. But when I first said everybody give $1, that's not working. I'm just I'm just letting you guys know it's, yeah, that dream. Everybody gives $1. 53,000 subscribers, it's not working. So yes, if you can give more than that, you know, I appreciate it. Like I said, you know, I'm in a unique situation where, you know what, we're already debt free, and I'm not rich, but with the little business that we have, I am able to do what I am able to do 45 hours a day, you know, letting you guys know what's going on. In 4 years, I've did the whole thing myself. 12,000 videos on there. I literally get emails where people are like, holy crap, I never knew it was this bad. And it is this bad, and it's getting worse every day because we have the internet, we have cell phones, we have cameras everywhere now, and it's just disgusting what's going on. And then, as you guys know too, we got Trump, we got Jeff Sessions doing a war on drugs, and now he wants to go after the forfeiture laws again. It's just unfreaking real. So if you can give more than that dream of everybody giving $1, yeah, that old video, that's not working. They're not. They're just not. So anyways, if you can give more than that dream is not working. Hardly anybody is giving. There you go. So that's why I'm remaking the video. If you can give more than that would be great. And there again, like I said, the Patreon's there. There is some people on there that are starting to give, but there again, it's very, very low. And like I said, I don't want to get rich off of that. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because, you know, it's still so stinking corrupt. It's not even funny. My court case that I'm going to be paying out of my pocket myself with Charlotte County's coming up. They illegally looked me up and then posted all my information on LEOAFFAIRS website. They basically doxed me, however you want to say that. I forget what the word is, and they outed me, man. And that information on that site went out to 500 sheriffs, deputies, people that work at the jail, etc., etc., etc. So yeah, it is very, very scary, but we're going to do a federal case, 1983 case, violating freedom of speech. We have 17 cameras in the house now. We got 2 cameras in the car. I always carry a camera plus a cell phone. A lot of people are highly recommending I get a vest now. If I could, if the wife would let me, I would run for sheriff. We are trying to push the thing nationwide right now. Where just to mix it up and to get the topics out there is register to run for sheriff, NPA, no party affiliation, as a write-in, and that is completely free, and you can participate in the elections. And there's a lot of stuff. We got a guy, James McLinnis in Pinellas County, Tampa, who almost won. He experienced the corruption himself. The story is unbelievable. Look him up. It's mind-blowing what they did. It pissed him off. He is very, very smart. He has way more money than I did. He ran for sheriff at the last 3 months last year in 2016 and almost won. He got all of the black vote. And the reason why he did that is because he ran in, I will not bust, we're in Florida, I will not bust anybody for weed anymore unless it's an ungodly huge amount, like pounds. And then he also ran in, no more victimless crimes, no more of this freaking road pirate bull crap. and that he was going to cut the budget by 30%. And when you think about that, you can. If you stop the road pirates, you can get rid of a bunch of people. Gone. So, the wife has been saying, yes, I can, yes, I can't. So I don't know. We're trying to find somebody that can do it because I am busy doing this anyways. But, so I'm making a video, like I said, that $1 a month from everybody, you know, for 53,000 subscribers, that is not working. I'm just letting you guys know. Absolutely give way more than $1 a month. If you can, I appreciate anything. By the way, remember too, when you give that, PayPal takes like freaking 15 to 20%, so it's even worse than that. But, and there again, like I'm letting you guys know, it's way, what I get is very, very low. Appreciate it, but it is very, very low. Can't live on it. I'm just, you know, I'm working, and that's what I'm working on. And that court case is going to cost a buttload of money. That's federal court. Just the filing fees and the depositions that we're going to be doing with this corrupt cop. So there's another reason to give. We are going to be doing a deposition with this very corrupt. He was in a drug squad. He is a bad guy. He's on steroids. We heard steroids are rampant here. That's why their attitude is so bad. And we are going to get him on video, and it will be on YouTube. So that case alone is $5,000 just to bring it to court, and that's my money out of my pocket. So there's another reason to give, and give way more than $1 if you can. So keep that in mind. This is the new video, and I see, God, I talk a lot. It's already 7 minutes, but had to make it just to let you know that $1 a month from everybody is not working. They're not doing it. So if you can give more than that, please. So thanks. Keep it up. Share, like, subscribe, tell your friends, send me your videos on corruption, and I'll post it.